Hi, I'm Gina Ventola, Practice Manager for Ventola Law. One of the best parts of my job is meeting with business owners. However, at times, it can be difficult to meet in person. That's why I started this show, to introduce you to local business owners in our community. Join me on Your Virtual Coffee, a new kind of networking. Hey everyone, welcome to Your Virtual Coffee, the web show that introduces you to great local businesses in the Denver metro area. My guest today is my buddy, partner in crime, and tech guru, Evan Eakin. Evan is the co-founder and CEO of Elevate Services Group. With over 20 years experience, Evan has worked with service-based businesses and consulted or led teams in finance, retail services, hospitality, and e-commerce industries. As a full-service IT provider, Elevate Services Group understands the changing landscape of technology. No longer is technology simply an operational function to support the business, but rather a strategic business asset that creates deep relationships with customers, increase productivity through streamlined processes, and competitive differentiation in rapidly changing markets. And with that, Evan, welcome to my show.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Gina.
So Evan, we tend to do business with people that we know, we like, we trust. So if you'll indulge me, could you tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
I'd love to. Well, as you said, right now, I am the founder, CEO of Elevate Services Group. How I came to this is many years of different technology roles in significantly larger companies. My last industry role was as the Chief Technology Officer at Red Robin, which is the restaurant company, and many other technical roles like that prior to Red Robin, where I essentially accumulated all of how large enterprise, Fortune 1000, thinks about technology, how they leverage technology for revenue growth. And ultimately it was in that where I decided, okay, why is it that large enterprise has these world-class IT programs? Why can't small, medium-sized business get the same access to these world-class programs? And that's what I decided to do. And that's what Elevate Services Group does, is it really takes all of the years and practices and programs and everything that large enterprise is doing and makes it available to small, medium-sized business in our backyard, Denver, Colorado.
So now we know why you're here as far as speaking with me. I'd like to know a little bit more about you individually. What are your hobbies?
Well, so I'm a family man. Love my family. I've got a wife of 24 years and 3 kids, and they keep me busy. 3 high schoolers, so they keep me extra busy. And so that's my hobby, quite frankly. When I do find time outside of that, I actually really love golf. And that's my getaway, that's my happy place. And I love hanging out with friends that love to golf. And so but frankly, outside of that, that pretty much keeps me busy.
So between your life is pretty much your job, your company, taking kids to sporting events, I'm sure,
Absolutely.
And golf.
Yeah, and that golf is definitely way down the list.
So what is it about information technology that intrigues you?
It's a great question. So I didn't start in technology. My degrees are in engineering. And in fact, my first career pit stop was at Intel on the engineering side. And so I always loved how things came together. I was kind of a builder because of my passion for engineering. It was only in that engineering career pit stop at Intel that I got to see what was going on the other side. The technology used at the time to do some amazing things in business. And so that's what started. It was like, wow, I'm on the wrong side of this. I don't want to be engineering the technology. I want to be taking the technology and driving change with it, growing businesses with it. And so that created the quick pivot in my own career. And what I love about technology is its ability to make things easy. So many people think technology makes things harder. And I understand that there's some level of change that comes along with adapting to some new technology. You picked up the very first computer that you ever used. If you can go back to that, it took some education, it took some training, but we're getting better at that. And then the younger generations, they're just being born into it. So they're expecting this. But for me, what I always saw technology is it helped me do things faster. It helped me get there quicker. It helped me be more efficient. And then once you start that, it's like a drug. You just want more of that. You just want more of that. And you start to see, oh, I could use technology here, and I could use technology here. And oh, wow, what could I do with this? And then you start becoming just fascinated and you want more and more and more. And so for me, the way I look at it, and I think the way Elevate looks at it, is we see technology as a game-changing way to grow business. We see it as fun. We see it as easy. We see it as simple, because it is. I mean, once you start to get technology working for you, it can be that easy.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And I kind of got my feet wet with IT as well. Mainly because I found out those classes in college were a lot easier than others. And so I took more of them, and it just was kind of a duck to water kind of thing. So I get that. And it's like, once you get it, you want more.
That's right.
What is the best way Elevate Services Group works with business owners?
Well, it's one of the reasons why we've taken all of that years of experience from, kind of Fortune 1000, we've reduced it into a model, an approach that we say helps small and medium-sized business leader get the greatest return on investment out of technology. And so the thing I'd want those leaders to know is that IT, though easy, though simple for us, for them to do it in-house or to do it using just a part of someone, that becomes really challenging, because there are so many different facets to technology. There's the hard technology itself. We call those kind of the hard expenses, the software licenses, et cetera. Then there's all of the different skill sets, being able to do technical analysis, being able to do the engineering and implementation of systems, being able to even just think strategically about that. And then, there's the basic support or help desk services on just getting someone's monitor to turn on. So you think of all of the different skill sets you need in technology, which quite frankly are no different than any other line of business function: finance, marketing, operations. If I were to try to reduce that function down to one individual, I'd be laughed at, because you can't do it. There are just so many different skill sets and so many different competencies that you need. And so what we've done is we've put that into a program where a small, medium-sized business has all of the people, all of the process, and all of the technology. We call it the three-legged stool, to having a world-class IT program. And that is a holistic approach. And a lot of times where leaders, that they get to a point in the growth of their company where they realize they need to be doing something more than they're doing with IT, a classic mistake I see made is they'll just hire one person. And they expect that person to be able to engineer some sort of cloud system and come up with a strategy for next year, and at the same time come into the CEO's office and fix a monitor. Well, those are just three different pieces of the overall IT, call it landscape. And so I try to help get out ahead of that. And in conversations I have with leaders is that you're never going to be able to get what you want in a world-class IT program from just one person.
I totally, and having been that one person, you hit the nail on the head, because I've done that. I had done that off and on for years, and it's very difficult to be all things to all situations
Right.
regarding within an office. Evan, what is one thing you would like potential clients to know?
You know, if it's just one, then I'll split it into half and half. I think the unfortunate thing right now, and the reason I want to be positive, I want them to know something, but there is a threat. There's a threat that business is dealing with, and it's people want their data. There are these threat actors. There are these people outside, and I can't tell you how many conversations that I have with various small, medium-sized business leaders that they're just they're disregarding. They're not taking that threat seriously to their data. And they don't realize how prevalent it truly is. I mean, the numbers are skyrocketing, and only more so because there's just an abundance of technology that companies are just using. They're just already using it. And so they're setting themselves up for these threat actors or these really evil people to come in and just easily steal that data or lock their business up completely for ransom. And I just have so many conversations on the back end of that, people calling or people saying, hey, I had this event happen. What do I do? And so if I have an opportunity like a virtual coffee, I want to get out ahead of that. And I want to say, if you're a small, medium-sized business leader that is operating any amount of technology, which by the way, I'm speaking to all of you, because there's no paper-based businesses anymore, period, then you need to have a disciplined way to view your security risk, and you need to be addressing that. You need to be doing things in a proactive fashion, and it's not complex. I mean, again, we make that simple. We make that easy. So because I'm having just more and more of these conversations, that's what I'd want leaders to hear. But that's really kind of the dour negative side of, security and risk. And I don't want to make it all about that. I think for the other half of my one thing that I would tell business leaders is, frankly, if you're looking at the technology you're using and you think of it more as a nuisance than as an opportunity to grow your business, we should be talking. Because that, technology needs to go to that opportunistic, it needs to be thought of, we call it business-driven IT. It needs to be driving your business forward. And if it's not, and it may not, because there's pain, and there's pain that we can help, get you through. But if it's just in the back of your head that you're trying to work around technology, there are ways that the cloud, there's ways that can be done very securely, and we make it simple. And that's why in a holistic program, you don't need to know how the sausage is made. You just need to know that that's really great sausage. And that's what we would want business leaders to know is don't avoid your technology, leverage it, harness it, use it to grow your business.
Plus, I would also add, not only do you want the best tasting sausage, you want the one that the process is streamlined so you get it what you need faster.
Absolutely. Well, and we knew all along, if we were going to position a world-class IT model to small and mid-market business leaders, that it had to be one that worked in the economics of their business as well. So it's built to be efficient, it's built to be effective, and it's built to be at that price point that is, doesn't crush their business, doesn't crush them or load them with expenses that, they shouldn't have.
Evan, let's talk about power partners. Now, for our audience, Power partners are those businesses who target your same ideal client, but are not your competition. One example I like to use is a residential realtor and a mortgage broker. They both want to talk to that future homeowner, but they don't compete with each other. The whole point is that they can work together. So with that being said, Evan, let's talk about who your ideal client is. Could you share about that?
Yeah, no, we've spent a lot of time kind of refining this, and we really do target a business service, professional service organization. Oftentimes, they may be outsourcers themselves, kind of like we are viewed as outsourcers, where they're providing an HR service, a finance service. Think of a CPA firm as an example, that they just understand our model because that's what they're providing to their customers. So we like the professional service space, and we like it in Denver. We want to grow our business in Denver, so region matters to us. We've also realized that there are businesses, oftentimes maybe startup, or perhaps they're kind of lifestyle businesses. Where usually they're fewer than about 20 employees, and those are businesses that usually ask someone to kind of wear a partial hat in IT, and that may not be a great fit. Our model, in other words, may not be a great fit to their approach. So we really kind of see that as the entry point for our ideal profile. And then we're able to take that as they're growing. We really see the sweet spot being sort of that 50 to 70 to maybe even 100 employee size organizations that have more demand for supporting their users, for deploying technology. And so that for us is a great sweet spot. But we've also accommodated, we've taken our model and we've been able to go up market, more into the mid-market, with what we call a point of contact model, where we can provide our fractional CIO services to create strategy. We can provide our program services to implement actual parts of that roadmap. So we can provide some of those higher value services and surround the company that may have one or two full-time IT people that are focused on one or two roles only. So what we're able to do is really bring a level of value beyond what those individuals can provide themselves. And that actually takes us more into the mid-market, that kind of co-operating model. So that's our ideal profile.
I like that you used the word fractional, because that's what kept coming to mind for me. And we talked about this in an earlier episode. What a fractional business does is they provide services, but they're not your employee. And so I'm thinking for your company, Evan, other people in the fractional space who are not in IT, such as, fractional counsel as far as attorneys, fractional CPAs, anyone fractional as far like marketing, where, there are companies out there who can't afford a CMO or a chief marketing officer, but they need the services of one for maybe this time period. And I kind of see that for your company too. So those people, as well as maybe someone who does staffing, because if you're going to hire staff or you're looking for staff, you're going to be of a certain size, along with PEO, those professional employment organizations, or people in HR.
Absolutely.
For the same reason. You're looking for companies of a certain size, so are they.
Yeah.
So I think those are definitely some power partners, and I will kind of go through my mental Rolodex and see who I can introduce you to so you can build those relationships. Now, Evan, do you offer like an assessment? What is it if someone calls you, because I'm going to ask for business owners to reach out to you, and how's the best way to do that? But I'd first kind of like to know what can you do for them as far as an assessment right out the bat?
So again, because the program is holistic, we've actually built what we call DART: Discovery, Analyze, Roadmap, Timeline. And we like it because it gets to its target very quickly, and it's very simple, but yet it covers multiple areas of IT, including security, as we discussed earlier. But for those companies that frankly may be starting from scratch, they may not be doing anything in their IT, or they may be down a certain path and they're just not getting the performance they need. It's a good opportunity for us to come in with that assessment. Part of that process is we bring our standards. So Elevate has delivered what we call Granite to the market. Granite is our set of standards across infrastructure, network, security, et cetera. So we take those standards and we boil them down into this assessment across these 6 areas of IT that we've broken out. And so we're able to provide a level of analysis and a quick roadmap to our prospect or to our possible client that it's not the extensive IT strategy that we would be creating when we're in relationship, but it gives them, hey, here are the deficiencies that we're seeing. Here are some of the gaps to standards. Here's how we would possibly prioritize that. And then based on that, this is probably what you're looking at as a roadmap to address some of those opportunities that need addressing. So that assessment is able, that they can actually start taking action on their own with it. We give that away, but we also stitch it in that says, okay, if you like Elevate and you want us to be doing this, then that actually weaves really nicely into the first phase of our relationship, which is our onboarding phase. And that's where we take the information that we gather in the assessment and we feed it into that onboarding that can accelerate the customer, in that case, receiving the benefit. So doing an assessment before our onboarding is only going to accelerate the benefit of the program.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. Now, if they want to know about the assessment, they see this program and they say, hey, I want to talk to that Evan guy. He knows what he's talking about. What's the best way for those business owners to reach out to you?
Well, digitally is always there. Our website, elevateservicesgroup.com. On that website, they can get access to our various white papers. We have a section of executive insights. So if there's a CEO, a president, a COO that might be listening to this, they can kind of dabble in what we believe, our point of view, by downloading several of our executive insights. But ultimately, if they want to talk to us, we want to talk to them. So it would really be contacting us at our Contact Us on our Elevate Services Group site. And frankly, folks can always send me an email, evan@elevateservicesgroup.com. That's evan@elevateservicesgroup.com. And we'll make sure that if it's an assessment conversation, if it's more about the Elevate way that they want to understand, we can route that really quickly.
That's perfect. And we'll include slides at the end that will include that information along with the Power Partners and Ideal Client discussion that we just had.
Wonderful.
Evan, any last thoughts?
Well, just one last thing I'll leave is there is an ability that business leaders have to get control of their IT. And I think if there's the last kind of message that I would want to deliver to those that might be listening to this is we want to help business leaders get control of their IT. And we talked about how that can be used against them in a data breach or a security event. It can be used for their business to drive their business. But ultimately, what it comes right down to is there are so many business leaders that just don't have control of their IT. And that ultimately is what we're about. It's helping those leaders get control of IT.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Evan, thank you for coming on my show.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
To my audience, thank you so much for joining us today. We could not do this show without you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe here on the bottom to our YouTube channel. And business owners, let's talk. Bye now. Your virtual coffee is sponsored by Ventola Law. Ventola Law mediation, and legal representation at an expert level. You can find them at ventolalaw.com. Thanks for joining me today. For more information on Your Virtual Coffee, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wait for it, our website at yourvirtualcoffee.com. Thanks again for watching and have an incredible day.